first day into trading week, especially after such a large movement last Friday. Don't be rushing to trade today. Let me just quickly run through some of the key events that's coming up. Now we have a beige book tomorrow. That's quite an important document from the Federal Reserve. So do look out for that, 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's a possible catalyst event. But what's more important will be that Powell will be speaking on the 8th of September. That's a Thursday, right here on the 8th, on Thursday. He'll be speaking at 9:10 a.m. for an event until 9:50 a.m. So the market will be opened in between the period of time that he will be speaking. And that is just preceding the CPI report that will be out on the 13th of September next week, before the FOMC meeting on the 21st of September. So once again, Powell speaking, that will be a market impacting catalyst event that we will see on the 8th of September, which is on Thursday. Now, as always, on the first day of the trading week, in this case on a Tuesday, don't be looking to rush into trades. Market will be finding equilibrium, especially after such a large movement from Friday onwards. But I'm sure you can tell what form of structure that we are forming, which I've been asking also to look out for on Friday. Yep, you saw it right there. So on Friday, we were also looking out for such a structure. And if you take a look at it on a cleaner chart, you see that the structure is so much clearer here. So I've indicated some of the major levels, as always, in yellow and orange, as well as pink. But yellow and orange will be more important levels that you have to take note of here, right? So firstly, we may see some form of head and shoulder forming. Now we are in the midst of forming this right shoulder, and that provides so much incentives for the market to be flagging in this area before Powell's event on the 8th. So have expectations that the market will be in equilibrium as we are starting to flag. So in this case, we want to be looking out for possible hard supports, especially for today and also tomorrow. But for today, we have to be really more observant on the market structure right now. Now, we can be sure at least that there is at least this neckline support level here at 390. If we take a look at a 30-minute chart, that's exactly where our orange 390 is, right? We bounced off quite strongly near the end of the day on Friday, and that provides some form of neckline support. So in this case, if the sellers want to continue to push us to retest this support and push us further down, they will have to start flagging, rallying sellers from a higher price, pushing us down. So today we have to look out for this very possible right shoulder resistance, and we're looking out for 395 yellow right here. It's a possibility. So if we take a look at a 5-minute chart here, right here, 395 yellow. Let me adjust the chart slightly. We're looking at 395 yellow right here. It's a possible level here. Now there's also a possibility we may revisit this 397 pink. So we want to also look out for this 397 pink level here. It's a little high up, but still it's a possible structure that we may revisit this for some sort of resistance. So right here, 397 pink, 395 yellow. So these are the two levels that I will be looking out for. We're talking about some sort of resistance. Now, there are a few algorithms we want to be looking out for today. Now, the first one is a selling algorithm that we observed that happened on Friday. So we want to see if this continues, right? Especially if the market is in some sort of observation mode. just before power on the 8th. So we want to see if the market continues to just allow the algorithm to do its work. And therefore, we've charted some sort of selling algorithm to carry on Friday's possible selling. And so I've put it here in this 30-minute chart. You should see it here in this selling channel right here, where I extrapolated it right on top here as well. You can see how it also possibly coincides with the yellow and the pink level, which are our possible shoulder resistance levels here. So that's something we want to pay attention to as we open. Now let's not forget, on top of the intraday selling channels, right, we also mentioned on Friday that we were still in some sort of macro selling channel, and therefore I asked to look out for on Friday, especially if we do break out of that channel. Right, and right now we've returned back to that macro selling channel. So I've also charted that macro selling channel, which is slightly gentler right here. Right, and we are still firmly inside that macro selling channel. So that's something we want to also pay attention to. Now, if that's too many algorithms and selling channels you have to pay attention to, I'll be just looking out for this today, intraday. See if we continue to observe this. Now, there is a very strong possibility we may just continue flagging. So there is also a possibility we may form some kind of intraday buying channel within this range here. And as I always mentioned, when there is a chop, when the market's in equilibrium, it means that there is a buying and a selling channel in the midst, and therefore the market chops within the two algorithms, especially when we are awaiting for major catalyst event. The market will be in some sort of equilibrium in trading range while waiting for catalyst events to bring us out of it. So currently, can you tell what sort of range do we have on macro level? Right, firstly, we mentioned here about 400, right? And now we have established that some sort of support here at 390. So this is a 10-point range. It's still pretty large. But if we take a look at a smaller range, now in terms of a smaller range, we see that the right shoulder is possibly forming. Take a look at a cleaner chart. This is the head, and we have an obvious rejection right here. Right, this zone here has become heavily protected because of the selling and buying. So you can imagine this is one large doji right here, one large gravestone rejection right here at this level at 400. Now, is it possible we trade here? Obviously, definitely possible if we start on a buying channel to try to break through this if this resistance doesn't hold. So we want to be seeing some sort of shoulder resistance here. And as I mentioned, look out for 395 yellow, look out for pink 397, look out for the possible intraday selling channels, which is right here, and also macro selling channels. Right, I'll be guiding along the way the Discord server. I'll be looking out for all these possible algorithms. But as I mentioned before, catalyst event, the market wants to be in some sort of equilibrium as it sorts itself out. So it's possible that we may be flagging within this range here, especially when we look out for the possible support neckline of this head and shoulder pattern, where the sellers, even after 10-point drop, unable to break through. So that's one, and also possible resistance here. So this is a possible flagging, chopping area where the market is in equilibrium before a major catalyst event, and you can expect to see some sort of buying and selling channels where the market will fight it out, right, to be in equilibrium. Now this is a good time, big money, to sort themselves out, right? Or there could also be further selling, especially after Friday, so we want to also pay attention to that. But one thing for sure, the support, there will be some sort of bounce, but we want to see where does it lead to continued selling or a stronger structure that we want to be taking a look, a microstructure that will break us through here. So today, a day of observation. Remember, Powell is speaking on the 8th. Tomorrow, we have the Beige Book at 2 p.m. Now, that's basically just a summary of economic projections. So just expect that to be some sort of catalyst event. Because if the market wants to make a move, the best time to do it is when the report is released. Also, now on a macro level, as I mentioned, we were expecting some sort of support like this, right? We could very easily form an inverse head and shoulder with some strong neckline here. So if Powell gives a good news on the 8th, yeah, you can expect to see something like that. We push it back up to this neckline resistance again, forming an inverse head and shoulder. So it's very much possible. We're also forming cup and handle. So this support here is something we were looking out for, right? And it will provide some sort of support level here. But otherwise, you see that we could also be forming a head and shoulder pattern here. Now this could be the shoulder at 400, which I think it's very likely for now. So we also want to be paying attention to some sort of microstructure. And in between here right now, we have another head and shoulder right in between, especially if we zoom it in right now here like that on 30-minute chart or even a 10-minute chart. You can see that we are forming a microstructure here right now with a head and shoulder. So we can expect some chopping here. Want to pay attention to what kind of algorithms are taking control. But today, I am expecting some sort of choppy action. But we have to be careful when we get into positions, if we can, onto the major resistance and support levels. That will be quite important. That's where we want to be taking our actions, or if we see some microstructures that's forming some sort of imbalance. But be clear on your trading ranges today. Right, the support level here will be very strongly defended for sure. In fact, this entire area above 392, this will be quite strongly defended here. So if I were to be taking calls, maybe here at the end here. If I'm taking puts, maybe here at this orange 395, maybe here, right? Pay attention to the selling channels that we have seen here, especially when they coincide with our major structures here, our intraday structures that we may be forming. I'll be looking out for the selling channel. That's what I'll be looking out for today, right? So just be very careful when we trade. There will certainly be some sort of dead cat bounce starting. We want to be seeing some shorts that will be covering, especially before Powell speaks. As always, the big money will always try to reduce their risks, so they will be covering shorts, especially when we have several red days, right? Just within a week, we have dropped from 420 all the way down now to 390. So that's a 30-point drop just within a week or two. So in this case, you can expect some shorts to be covering itself just before the 8th, where Powell will speak on Thursday. So it's also possible we may start flagging and push it back up to 400. So I will not be surprised if we do hit back here at 400 as well. But not without some sort of resistance here at 395 and 397. So the zone here, expect some movement down as well. Now, one big worry I have about big movements like this, especially in a choppy market, and I have explained this several times, that if it's an easy way down, it will be an easy way up. So this 395, it can be broken, and bulls want to push it back up. It's very easy for them to do that, right? Because it's an easy way down, it will be an easy way up. So I expect some sort of catalyst event to push us back up as well to 400. If that's a possibility, to go back up. So have no biases for now. As we trade, we have to be very objective. We have to see the structure and to plan our trades according to the structure. And for the first trading day of the week, always remember to be paying a little bit more attention here. So no rush to trade. Like we missed a big move, remember. That's no fear of missing out. If we miss it, we miss it. No big deal. More importantly, on the first trading day of the week, you have to pay attention to the algorithms at work. Just monitor a little bit more, be more observant, knowing that there are catalyst events ahead of us next week, especially two large ones, 13th September, 21st September, as well as 8th of September, this Thursday as well. One event per week. Huge catalyst events that's coming up. So don't worry about missing a trade. We are not missing any trades at all. We just want to make our money during this market that will be very choppy. We just have to protect ourselves by making sure we understand our trading ranges, understand the possible market movements, and take our trades only when there's a microstructure and we know at least how these microstructures will work out accordingly. Right? So selling channels, buying channels, these are how the algorithms move. So we want to see how the algorithms move and we just tag along. Right, so remember, but just tagging along where the big money is doing. Getting lazy, so they're using algorithms for their trades. Well, we just tag along with their algorithms. That's how we make money together with them. So just be a little bit more observant, be patient. We just need 3 good trades a day. Just 3 good trades in 6.5 hours. And that means you take 1 trade every 2 hours. That's the opportunity that we have. So you can't afford to be patient. Don't rush into a trade. And sometimes when we get into a trade, we want instant feedback. And that's when we get into a proper structure where we can get instant feedback like that. Right? And when we do that, yeah, there'll be good money. Instantly, we can get good results. We know that our trade will work. It's better than being caught in limbo. Right? We don't want that. So I'll guide you along, obviously, the Discord server. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later, closer to opening bell. Thank you very much.